And we are now at episode 287 at Off the Cuff Radio, the livest hip hop show on Friday nights. What's the deal, y'all? This your boy King Eric the Great. You are now tuned in to the livest episode this week. And I got my host of the T Max with the facts in the building.
What's the deal? What's the deal, man? Friday Night Fresh, OTC, and a place to be. It's King Eric and, of course, myself. Shout out to our co-hosts, a lot of Sandman, Lady Chinchilla, Soilla, and Spirit. And, of course, we're sponsored by Da Vinci Clothing and Buddy Boy Entertainment. And tonight, King, man, we got a special show tonight, man.
It was so special that we had to push up 2 dates to make this thing happen because this lady here, very talented individual, very humble spirit. We connected very well, and I could tell that she was willing to get down with us, and she has a great history, a great background, humble beginnings that she want to discuss with us, and we want to bring her story to the life because we know that Tupac Me Against the World was one of the most impactful albums of the 90s, and we want the people that was a part of creating that masterpiece to be involved and letting people know that everybody that contributed to this deserved their time of light. So without further ado, let's bring on the lovely Oracle to the show, y'all.
Yeah.
What's up?
You got to put them DJ sirens on.
What's up with it? I see it's popping in here. Oracle in the building. Thanks for having me on Off the Cuff Radio.
We in the building. We made it happen. We had to talk about like 5 or 6 of your assistants and agents to get through to the building. That's how busy you be.
Man. Oh, man. I just wanted to make sure y'all can always reach
They threw me out the building like twice. T-Max, because I tried to get in there.
So they do you like?
I appreciate
so
the
they
love.
do you like Philip Banks used to look. They do you like Philip Banks used to do jazz on Fresh Prince and whatnot.
I show as soon as I get offline, I'm gonna show y'all the wounds too. That's how dedicated I am to make an interview.
Oh man, I appreciate it. It showed me how much y'all got love for me, and you just don't know what that means to me right now in 2020. So I appreciate that. Off the Cuff Radio, looking out for me. Y'all reached out and y'all found me. I don't know how, but y'all did it.
That's what we call the crate diggers. That's one of our nicknames. We're the crate diggers because we dig for exclusives. And we dig for people that are real, that really made a lot of things happen, but we feel they get overlooked. So we want to bring them on our platform to tell their story.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
that's a blessing. Especially right now. I'm starting from scratch, so that means everything right now. That's all love.
Well, one thing about
I know you got a new.
Oh, go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
Yeah. Before we get things started, we want to let people know that the call number is 1-619-924-0703. If you want to feature, I'm going to need about $70K for the cash app. We're doing things new for 2020.
That's what's up.
Definitely. Young lady, Oracle, it's so great for you to be with us. We're so humble. We're so appreciative of your appearance. And, of course, your name speaks volumes in terms of an oracle being that portal, seeing things. As King said, your musical legacy is legendary. I mean, you're on one of the most classic hip-hop albums ever. And, of course, where you have, artists like, of course, Wu-Tang Clan with Ghostface and Ray with Blue Raspberry singing on Rainy Days. Of course, you have Mary J singing on Method Man's All I Need to Get By. I mean, of course, Joya singing on Fights Once Ain't No Love. Those just underscore the point because you always have those songs with a male or female vocalist that really brings home that soul, that panache, that passion, that just that that really gives the message. I mean, how does that feel for you to just to have such a place in hip hop history? Because you're just as relevant, respected, and essential for making those Pac songs what they were.
Man, oh my God, it's indescribable, to be honest with you. I guess because I'm just another human being. I look up to so many of the greats out there, like as if I'm not one of them, but I just feel like it's an honor. And when I hear that people the people have had life-changing moments from it, you know what I'm saying, and were impacted in such a way, the way that I function, it lets me know that I was where I was supposed to be, doing what I was supposed to be doing at the moment that I was there doing it, So it's like I can't even give enough praises up for Pac seeing something in us like that. Me and my brother, he clicked really well with my brother, and they saw fit to bring me in, and it was just like a family acceptance there. I'll never forget that, So the way it feels to me is like it was surreal, because life was happening for me, and when I say that, I mean like the biggest trials or tribulations you could think of was going on with me, and it was at a time where I had so much stress and heaviness on me. I really didn't even have time to be like, oh, let me get a selfie with Pac, or let me get an autograph, or none of that. It was just like, it was life happening, but at a moment where a family just clicked together, and it was like an innate thing that took place, And I'll never forget that. They didn't have to accept us like that, and that's what the whole family did. So I don't know. I'm just wild myself, actually. I really am.
So tell us a little bit about
it.
yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you came up.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard of my brother Mosey, who is a producer, but what happened was we were born in Mississippi, and when I came into the world, he was already functioning with it. I mean, all the talent shows, doing the Al Green, hitting the Michael Jackson, just full-out performances. He had to be about 7 years old. And so what I was told was that I was singing and hitting riffs and stuff before I could talk. So my pops was like, all right, we going to Hollywood. And just packed the family up, and we went straight down to Long Beach. So
LBC.
That's where I landed. LBC, straight in the heart
Long
of it.
Beach. She from Long Beach.
I was LBC in the building.
Long
I gotta
Beach.
give a shout out to Long Beach. Man, all day.
Yeah, we
you got to put a lot of boast on it.
Long Beach.
You got to put your boast to it when you say Long Beach.
Long Beach.
We do the most.
Come on, it ain't no other
There
Long
you go.
Beach. It ain't no. Never. Everybody that came out of Long Beach, epic. It's undeniable. And that's what we grew up with. Like, I'm talking about on the gospel field, on that side of things, and then in the hood where, Snoopy and them, they were all our friends, and we just all grew up together in the same hood. It was all in the same place. So that was kind of crazy. In my gospel camp with Edwin Hawkins and them, that's the one that wrote the Oh Happy Day. You ever heard that? Oh Happy Day,
yeah.
That thing. Okay, so in that camp is where you had Yolanda Adams, and you had John P. Key, and you had Tony, who was the musicians, and, so on and so forth. But when you go home from church, after running into, like, the Clark sisters and Andre Crouch and so on and so forth, at home, in the neighborhood, it's Snoopy and them, it's Warren G., Daz, everybody. We all kind of grew up in the same neighborhood. So my dad, he always kept me busy. My family was a gospel group. When I was like 5 years old, I was the lead singer of the gospel group. We toured and stuff. We grew up singing with Nate Dogg's family, because if you don't know, they whole family all sing straight out gospel. They call the Smith family. So I grew up with them at that young age. Yeah, like for real, his aunties was like my teachers and my mentors and the choirs that I toured with and stuff, you know. So, you know, you had that aspect of it, and I didn't really try to cross over into the secular field until my teenage years. You know, my pops didn't let up off me. Snoopy called him the Long Beach Joe Jackson. So it was like we were throwing all of the we hit every club on the strip, on Hollywood Strip, and we was doing all type of talent shows where people would come through and look out for us, like Jamie Foxx and Yvette Wilson, rest in peace, and you know, Speedy, and just a bunch of up and coming artists that you see out there hitting with Grammys and really doing it right now. So it's just kind of a thing that happened. I went to Poly High.
Long Beach Poly.
Jack Rabbit. Jack Rabbit.
Yo, we got to shout out. Of course, we got to shout out Willie McGinnis too, repping Long Beach too. Played for the Browns and the Patriots. You know, Willie McGinnis was there too. Shout out Willie McGinnis to Long Beach Poly.
All day, Willie McGinnis. They like family. You know what I'm saying? Tanisha, all of them. They like family. You know, and I can't even fathom the epicness that came out of Poly. You know, like Tyus Edney, that guy hit the NBA, and so on and so forth. You know?
Yo, shout out to
rich history.
Yo, and I got to come in on this because, of course, for y'all that don't know about Tyus Edney and his time with the UCLA Bruins, I tell anybody, go back to that 1995 NCAA tournament with the last 5 seconds against Missouri. He drove the length of the floor and laid it up in the air. Still one of the greatest plays in college basketball history. And they won a national title that year as well. Shout out to Jim Harris, Toby Bailey, the O'Bannon brothers, Charles and Ed. Man, I mean,
that's epic. That's epic. That's so epic. And you know, it's like we grew up with each other, you know, people like that. We just kind of all clicked up together. That was our neighborhood, and the whole LBC, man, it's like a family, you know. So like Tyus Edney's mom was with my mom on the day she died because they was best friends, type of thing. So I'm just saying it's a love that's out there in Long Beach, but it's an epicness on us. It's genius, and you can't shake it. It's just gonna be always top tier celebrity status coming out of there. And I just always learned to just keep humble with it because it didn't have to be like that. Feel me? So
Now, when you were pursuing the music, like, what made you get to that point where you was like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life?
Okay, so that's an interesting question because I was raised, kind of told what I was going to do. And as we speak right now, like, I'm coming off a long hiatus from music because I had to take a moment and restructure my relationship with music. And it's always a love there that I had, but I guess if you just grow up and you being told and your schedule is being run for you, and you know what I'm saying, it's like I had to redevelop a relationship with it. And so I would have to tell you that, like, right now is a moment in my life where I'm like, okay, I know I was born to do this, but now I have a new love for it, you know, because I can function the way I want to. And it's kind of challenging because I'm starting from scratch right now. But I always knew I loved to sing and stuff like that. Even when I started rapping and battle MCing underground and all that stuff, it was like it was a love for it. But I think I didn't get a chance to really embrace who I was on the inner. It was just kind of like, oh, you got wardrobe, they're going to come dress you up and get your look going for you and blah, 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 you know, as opposed to now, and which is why I can really appreciate the way the industry functions now, because you can do you. So that's where it's at. I'm Oracle, and that's a whole new identity, and it's me stepping into the essence of who I am at the core.
Definitely. And one thing about it, Oracle, is that when you came, you know, you growing up, I mean, of course you said you were born in Mississippi. Now, was it Jackson, Meridian, Biloxi that you were born in?
Shelby, out by Clarksdale.
Shelby, okay.
My brother was born in Clarksdale, yeah. So I have family all across Jackson.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
Mississippi, has two luminaries, of course, of in hip hop. Of course, the great, you know, Big Crit, and of course,
Mhm.
some guy, who goes by the Boss. He's one of the biggest rappers there is, the biggest boss we've seen thus far, Rick Ross. He was born in Mississippi
Right.
as well. You
Exactly.
know, and
Exactly.
Even
of
David
course,
Banner. David Banner
yeah,
wear
David Banner.
Mississippi like his pride,
Yeah.
Mhm.
boy.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to
Bishop.
the 601. Shout out to the
Shout
601 in
out.
Mississippi, man. Because it's like,
Hometown.
Yeah.
definitely, and especially when you're going to Long Beach. Of course, you got Snoop. Like
Mhm.
you said, this was literally like, a nuclear anomaly of just talent. You had the twins, Triploak and
Mhm.
Waniac. Of course, Trey
Right.
D.
Right.
This is like, there were, of course, him and Goldie Loc that would eventually, with Snoop would become the East
Mhm.
Siders. Of course, you had Dove Shack. Of course,
Right.
shout out, and we gotta give a shout out to the
The
Rolling
twins.
20s. Of course, the lady
All of
C
them.
Note.
Yes.
On Banging on Wax.
Right.
Danny Girl.
All the classic hits.
Yeah.
Classic hits.
Forgot about the twins.
Yeah, man. But what was it
So
like?
much.
Just yeah. Did y'all know at that time? Back then. Did y'all know that where y'all were just going in terms of just really putting y'all city on the map in terms of everybody, just doing what they were doing?
You know what? I think what's crazy about Long Beach is that we got this essence on us where it's like a natural. I don't know. It's like that natural feel, and I don't think we
It's like
really
Charlie
even
Murphy,
it
that
even
aura,
dawned on
aura,
us.
aura. We synced it.
Yeah, seriously though, because we was part of movements that we didn't realize was making history at the time, but we was doing what we loved to do and just being ourselves and stuff like that. So it was. I think that when we look back on it now, if all of the homies is like me, every day I look back and sometimes I just be like, Snoopy, wow, he just went boom, and it's like. I don't think it dawned on us until a little bit later. And matter of fact, myself, I haven't even really got to where I know I can get. A lot of people see it differently, but I'm just that kind of person where, as far as my roots, I let God use me as far as I can go. That's why you see me in every genre, functioning wherever He want to use me. So I know that it's further that I can go. But every time I see my people from Long Beach and how far they've gotten and where they still pushing, it's always inspiring to me because I know that at one point they was always coming to all my shit when I was little. 14 years old, all of the shows packed out was everybody. Willie McGinnis and them, everybody was there. And so now to see them functioning is inspiring to me to get back in the game and get where I know that I should have been a long time ago. I took a break.
Yeah.
I went back to school and, started working on my entrepreneurial type thing. But it's inspiring to me.
But and
always
that
gotta
hustle
have
still
different
goes
traits.
on to this day. It still goes on to this day because you got a lot of it still goes on to this day because y'all got a lot of artists like, of course, P. Nice, Zaire Akeem, of course, Stupid Young, Young Zeke. They're still coming up, representing Long Beach, putting on for the city. So, y'all have left that essence, that legacy in terms of the foundation y'all laid, is still paving the way almost 30 years later. Now, of course,
right.
Before everything, you would have, eventually find your way on into the game in terms of it. Of course, it started with, Calvin, with, and this is, of course, we knew, this was Calvin Broadus before Snoop Dogg. And what was it like before, Calvin, made that, transition into Snoop? And, of course, when Dre picked him up for the deep cover and then eventually just kind of, because this would be going to Death Row, and then, of course, Pac will come later on. So this is when you will find your way into it, of course. with your brother, who was doing producing as well. What was it like to see like Snoop really, kind of be the first from the city to like really, because this is a story in itself. Because this is just unbelievable to see this many people who have less than 6 degrees of separation, who all were intertwined in terms of creating one of the greatest musical dynasties we've ever seen in hip-hop history.
Right. Amazing. And it trips me out every day, was before that moment happened for him. He was somebody I was really pulling for because I knew how talented and gifted he was. And my brother knew it too. He called the house every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day, just like, Keela, tell Mosey to give me a beat, I need tracks. And I kept telling my brother, Snoopy called again, and my brother was like feeling bad because he was working with people like Tracy Spencer and Tisha Campbell and things like that. And so
Tracy
he was already up there.
Yeah, that's the kind of work we were doing, and my stuff was kind of controlled. I was kind of told if I can go work or whatever, like Cube called back in that day. He wanted me to come work. I was like 14, but I couldn't go and stuff like that. But I saw how hungry Snoop was for it, and I always felt like he deserved it. They were like our big brothers, so if you look back into those days, we had like these little sororities and fraternities, and I was from Vogue, and Snoopy and them was from 858, so they were like big brothers to us, you feel me? So it was like at all of the different parties or the beach parties or at the clubs or whatever, it would always be a circle around him, he rapping, and I might be in another circle singing or whatever, but I always knew what was in it. So every time he called, I was like, Mo, you got to get him some music. My brother is like, yeah, I got to do that, man. And so my brother tells me that it finally got to a point where he talked to Dre because they went to school together. And he was like, hey, man, you ever heard of this guy named Snoopy? And Dre was like, man, my brother keep kind of telling me about him. He's talking about Warren. And Mo was like, yeah, you should just really check into him because the boy is really dope. And then from there, my brother said the next thing he heard was Deep Cover. And I was just like ecstatic, like, thank God, because he was somebody, he just had it naturally on him. He just needed a place to be himself and let that really shine. And usually where my house was, it was the funk house, and music fall through there, artists fall through there all the time. And he never got a chance to really touch bases and really get some work done, like I wanted him to, like he wanted to. So when he really made it out there, I felt like a relief, like finally. He needed that. He deserved it.
Now I would be remiss, too, because, of course, a lot of people don't know about, y'all area code, which was also the nascentness of Snoop, Warren G and Nate Dogg, that was also known as the group 213, and that was, that's where it all started, in terms of, and of course, and of course the album they released in 2004 that was, us hip-hop heads, of course, we had heard them out there for so many years, but we had actually, but after everybody had gotten big, it kind of, they never broke up. It was just that by the time the fame started happening, they all came together.
Right.
They all ended up separating because, they all went different ways. But, of course, they did end up coming back together for the album. And, of course, I still remember, Nate Dogg's part. My sister's cousin told me her sister heard some stories. We were so gangster growing up. We got the girls excited. Sluts offer to give their bodies. Take them straight to the after party. To home to the closet. It ain't no fun if they ain't grinding. I can't be faded. I'm a nigga from the motherfucking Trump's tight and you can't deny it. Fucked up everyone who tried it. I remember when it started. Seemed like yesterday morning. Blame it on us. Yeah, we did it. Took hip-hop and got gangster what it is. That gangster music. Oh, man.
And he got even the spirit of Nate Dogg came back.
Man, he nailed it. Classic, man. Classic. Feel me?
The flow Candace and all.
All of that.
Yeah,
it's
man.
epic. It's written in stone. Nobody else will ever be able to ever capture that. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the type of print the LBC we leave, you know? I mean, Nate Dogg, rest in peace.
But you know what, though?
Like, great family.
But you know what, though? It goes hand in hand with you guys when you was talking about the gospel influence. And I feel that that's what made those records even more powerful back then. Because even when you was on feature on Me Against the World, and you was featured on tracks right there that brought the soul into it, because it came to the part of Pac's life where he was going through so much trauma, and he was one of the few artists that was able to be vulnerable, because you would never see that at the time. That everybody was gangster, 100 days or 100 hours. You won't see no vulnerable side, because them niggas was like, yo, we shoot them up, bang, bang, one album, track album, to the 21st album, we shoot them up, bang, bang. But Pac, he wasn't afraid to show his heart. And Me Against the World was a reflection of that.
Woo! Man, come on, you hitting it right now. I wish I could go in so much detail. If there's a book coming out, excuse me, I was really able to go into detail on that subject with Kevin Powell. But it's not released yet, so I can't really get into it. But the connection there, that is the connection that we had, and that I believe that is what the family feel. It was a family feel there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had my boys; they was Dramacidal at the time, Outlaws. Yeah, these were my boys. They had a moment where you can tell all of us needed this type of support that we knew was unconditional and not no extra ulterior motives and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was able to gel like that. We had some moments in the studio where we got to get spiritual and talk about God and really just talk about, you know, what we believe in and God keeping us and so on and so forth. You know, and that's the thing about Oracle. I didn't even realize who I was at that time when I got a chance to work with Pac, because I, too, was going through heavy trials. And I think that we didn't even know, all of us at that time, that was something that gelled us together, even though we didn't really touch on the in-depth parts of the trials we were going through. But, you know, it's like Pac, he saw me blow up one day. I mean, all of the hood came out of me. I'm on the phone with my baby daddy. They telling me it's a call. He like, come in here, you can take the call in here. I'm like, no. He like, go ahead. And I get on the phone and we banging at each other, you know. And I get off the phone and there's no judgment. Pac just like laughing like, damn, gangster, you know what I'm saying? But it was like we had all of this type of interaction with each other that was non-judgmental. And I think the essence of that fell onto this album unapologetically. You feel me? I didn't ever get that feel from any of his other stuff, but even though everything he's done is genius, I think just the very essence of that was the only one that oil was dropped on, that album right there.
Yeah. And when you look
at that
at
album there, man, it got a lot of us through a lot of tough times, man. I mean, especially the song we did when y'all did Lord Knows, that got a lot of people through a lot of tough times for real.
Ooh, wow. That's amazing. It's amazing. If you knew the stuff we were all dealing with at that time, oh my God, I think Tretch had got, Tretch died. I know the first song that they worked on with my brother was called Running from the Police, Running. And it was before the one that they put out. It was the original version that had Biggie, Pac, Tretch, and Yacht. All on the song, and my homeboy Radio, you know Radio from Long Beach, from TFA, that was my crew. So they wanted Radio on the hook. But it was the same sessions, that's what I'm saying, that we did Lord Knows in. So that vibe that we was in, we always dealing with heavy stuff. It just poured onto the music, man. So when I hear you guys say, like, it helped get a lot of people through a lot of stuff. I heard people wanted to commit suicide, and I heard different stories. Like, it just wows me. I can't take the glory for it. I have to give it up. What else can I do?
One thing about it, because for those that understand, the history of what had been going on, and we're kind of backtrack on, before what was it like, when you actually got that call for the studio, but we're on a roll with this. One thing about the Me Against the World album was, as you said, a lot of people, because we're older, King and myself, and of course you were there, but just from us being, connoisseurs and, fans of the culture and the music itself, I mean, this is coming within roughly about a year and a half of so much shit that Pac had dealt with. I mean, we're talking about, the November 28th quad shooting. We're talking about, that happened in Manhattan. We're talking about the situation, of course, where he had been on trial for those in Atlanta for the shooting of those two police officers who were harassing that black motorist, and he came to the defense of the motorist. And it was crazy because a lot of people, one could say that because of course Tupacalypse Now was released in 1991, and of course, Strictly from the Niggas was released in 1992, which a lot of people considered the breakthrough album. But if Strictly for My Niggas was the breakthrough album for him, then Me Against the World had to be the declaration of who he was as a man and the vulnerabilities that he had as a man, the flaws that he had as a man, the insecurities, the fears he had as a man. And like King said, your vocals were so soulfully stirring that were the perfect complement in the storm of, what was going on at that particular time. When you first went into the studio, when you first, for those studio sessions, what was it like when you got that call in terms of, y'all were going to work on this record? Was there any type of set? Was there any type of, what's the word I'm looking for, rubric that they had set for what the record was going to be, or did it just kind of all flow organically in terms of the circumstances of everybody's personal situations?
Yeah, there was no rubric. It was basically the essence of what was pouring out of Pac's heart, and it just so happened that our hearts pulled into that same vein, at the time. So, like for example, every day, before every session, he had a set of songs that he liked to play back and really dig into. One of them was So Many Tears. And the other one was So Much Pressure in the Air. Oh, I love that song. I Can't Get Away. Remember that one? And
how many? Yeah.
All of he had
now, how many
certain
brothers?
Songs that really like.
I was gonna say, now how many cats at that time would be all like very romantic on that level, like showcase that soft side for the ladies. Other than LL, I don't recall anybody in the 90s, because everybody in the 90s was on that gutter shit. Like, they was killing.
Exactly. And he
straight
had a
screw
moment.
facing.
Right. And he allowed himself to touch those areas, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what people really needed. We didn't even realize it, though. Because it was what we needed.
But when you look at that 95 era, it was just so, I mean, when you look at the albums that came out in that era, Pac's album is right, Me Against the World is right, is pretty much in the top 3 of releases because, of course, Raekwon and Ghostface dropped, Cuban Links August 1st of that year. And of course, you just, between, was it Twins Conversation, I believe that came out in 95 as well. Of course.
Right.
Between that 94 95 years, you're looking at roughly, and I just have in my head, just roughly about 10 albums within that calendar year from 94 to 95. And you got to remember, that's almost 15, 20 releases that are considered staples, and Me Against the World is probably in the top 3 in terms of what it really brought to the game. you know, I mean, what was those? I mean, in terms of what was it like to just have? What was those writing sessions like for you all in terms of just developing everything? And of course, you had all. I mean, tell us about the producers that were working that project as well with you all.
Okay, so around that time, we were around Mike Mosley because Drum Recital was also working on their album. We were like hitting a couple albums at the same time. So we had Mike Mosley around, my brother Mosey. I don't think I met Mo B at the time, but I think my brother may have. They had some encounters where I wasn't around, like when my brother went to work on Outlaw. It was in New York, you know, where he got shot. So I think they met with some of the producers out there. So, but the one that I got a chance to spend some time with was Mike Mosley, and my brother, and it was just the Outlaws and Thug Life around, you know. So it was a real intimate setting. So yeah, for myself, I would say I had a lot of time with Pac, but not as much as my brother did, because they had sessions where it was just solely them two. But like typically, the process was amazing because my brother and Pac clicked so well because how fast they worked together. So my brother could literally be tracking the beat, because this is before the way they lay music now, before Pro Tools and stuff. You know, you lay synthy, you splicing tape and all that stuff, you know. You winding up the reels. So my brother would track the music. Pac would write his song during the tracking. When my brother, before my brother finished tracking, he would be able to take a nap. Pac would straight go to sleep. My brother would track the next song. You know, by the time Pac woke up, he can go in and lay his rap, one take Jake, you know, do the doubles. You know what I'm saying, with a cigarette in his hand. And then it was just moving so fast. So within a day, we'd be knocked out a good 5 songs, you know, just because my brother and he had a working relationship that was really swift. And the way that the music came to us, it poured out of where Pac was at. For example, was a song called Thug Life. And he just came to me and told me, I want you to sing this. And he already had it. Thug Life. It's the only life for me. That song. And he was like, he had it all written. I didn't have to write nothing. Go ahead.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because you could, you know, just from my personal opinion, and some could share with me, Me Against the World was probably also, you could say, an extension, if basically, of the Thug Life album that was released the year before in 1994. You know, which was the, you know, of course, you know, basically the whole Outlaws click on there, you know, but, you know, the album was, I mean, that's a whole nother story in terms of what, you know, I heard about that album, about how hard the original version was.
Right.
Yeah.
So is this the Shit Don't Stop album, or
that was the Shit Don't Stop.
They were supposed to come with a volume 2, I believe. But it wasn't a volume 2 album, I believe.
Okay.
Thug Life Volume 1. Thug Life Volume 1.
Right. My brother did Cradle to the Grave on there, and the Shit Don't Stop. Yeah.
Because your girl from YNB has sung the hook on that.
Right.
You know, but of course, you know, that album, you know, Me Against the World was pretty much an extension of that album, you know, albeit, you know, a year later. So, I mean, so in terms of watching this process, was it really true about how, because of course, you know, you know, were there, is this really true about how with Mo and Pac, how they would just, like, have all these songs, like, just, like, these tons of songs just recorded? Because we know for all the songs that made the album, there's probably about a whole 80 or 180,000 that didn't make the album.
Right. So there are some other songs, that didn't make the Me Against the World album, but went out, you know, on other platforms, like a song called Throw Your Hands Up that landed on the Pump Your Fist album. It was that was a hip hop album,
for the
Black Panther.
So those, Man, for those who have not heard the Pump Your Fist album, of course, there's that. Of course, there's Cam's, Pump Your Fist. There's Jeru's The Damager, Frustrated Nigga on it. I mean, that album, that's a hip-hop, that's an underground classic right there.
Right. Wu-Tang
That's a straight
on
gem.
We did one with Yo-Yo on there, too. It happened at the same time.
Wow.
Called Crazy. Yeah. All crazy. So, yeah, with some other songs that went out abroad, different places, yeah.
Yeah, that was that compilation era.
Yeah.
Right. The collabos.
Now,
man, my time was
collaboration
up,
felt special.
Right. It was a special thing, man.
Now tell us about that California movement at the time, because of course y'all were doing it in Long Beach, but of course you had Montel Jordan coming along, you had YMV, you had Sinister, What I Won't Forget You, G, you had E-Rule, you have South Central Cartel, shout out to Havoc and Prodigy. Y'all like during that time in the early mid-90s, I mean, of course, Warren G ended up dropping his album on Def Jam. Y'all literally for like 2-3 years, like really had it, like that whole West Coast just had it on lock. I mean, it wasn't just, Pac or yourself. It was just like everybody. I mean, what was that? What catered to that creative energy that was going on around the left coast at that time at large? Because Pop was a big part of that in terms of what he influenced.
Right. Well, I tell you what, it was still a residue of Snoopy just hitting the ground running, because it just opened up a wide portal for everybody, and it was something that just generated for a long time. So, like, and I gotta go, you guys. But real quick, around that time, even though I was immersed in this all type of trauma, it was the essence of a resilience on Long Beach. Like, we had this resilience and we had a fire. Like, I'm talking about hungry, gifted, creative, like a creativity, like a move of creativity was going, And it's just something that we kind of picked up on. Me personally, I didn't even realize it, because I had hit some really heavy parts of my life that I was going through, to the point where I didn't even really have time to check in and see really what's going on, who's really blowing up right now, this and that and the other. I was rubbing shoulders with them and amongst each other, but in my downtime, it was stuff that I was going through, like survival mode type thing, but there was this essence of creativity that was thrusting us, and I think it derived from energy, like the riots was in 93, and that left an essence
92,
of
April 29th was the riots, 1992.
92, right. Exactly. My daughter's birthday, but a year before she was born, on the 29th. That left like a energy on us that was like, go get it, drive, nothing gonna stop us. We was creative, we was coming with all type of ideas. It was just like naturally falling off of us. You feel me? So I don't even think we at the time even realized the type of energy we was thrusting in. It was just innately coming off of us from the struggle, from, the hood, wanting to bring your people out the hood, and, just a drive to get where we going, knowing we talented, knowing we deserve it, knowing we hungry for it. And so when Pac and them came down here, they landed down here right in the midst of that energy. I'm talking about when Yacht, rest in peace, and Muta and them, they all came down for the first time, and they was real young, like 16 and 15 and stuff. And I mean, like, it was an energy they kind of picked up on. Because if you really be honest, if I were to be honest, like Yacht, rest in peace, you could tell he had his moments where he wasn't really feeling like this music stuff, or he gonna see where it go, or but when we all got linked up together, he just embodied every verse he hit, every spot he hit. It was just like something that just came out of him, and I knew he stepped into the movement. It's a wave in the energy. It's a wave in the wind. It's you can't escape it. So it just birthed a lot
Now,
of, I think that birthed a lot of the kids now. Like you said, the young ones that's from Long Beach holding it down.
Yeah,
And that's an essence that's going to go on forever. You feel me?
yeah. As for yourself, as you found yourself thrust into a new position of celebrity, because obviously, your vocals, put you into the star stratosphere. How did the profession open up for you in terms of you becoming, that go-to person now?
I think that I would have to say, and if it's okay, you guys, let this be the last question. I got to get back in the booth.
Sure.
But okay, thanks so much. Yeah, so I think that the level of dues that I've paid, I have to be real honest with you guys, they started in childhood, but I have to say on the other side of that, not the trials part and the dues, but the other side of that, I was blessed to get some people on my team that really believed in me, and they stuck with me through the years. So they, like I said before, they used to come to my stuff. It used to be the showcases that our company gave, that they all came out to support every celebrity you could think of, but we were like friends. So when I got the chance to work with Tupac, though, I think that really set people off. Like, okay, that's where the go-to is. Because I had people at the time, even just by the songs going off on the radio, they felt like their life was being changed and shit. They in jail in the pen, and it's just like touching them in a way where by word of mouth, people just started like through the hood, like that's the one right there. She needs to get on the hook. She needs to, you need to work with her. She's gonna make your work come alive. So when they do come to me, it's like they know that I'm about purpose. So it's always usually material that's going to impact somebody and not just going to be some ratchet, booty popping, whatever. So I don't know. I have to really say I'm going to always give glory up to God for people feeling like I can handle that mission for them or bring out what others can't bring out in their music. Feel me?
Definitely. Well, we definitely don't want to hold up you on the studio session. Of course, you got an open door. We got the red carpet for you laid out. So we definitely got to catch you on the rebound because there's so much more we got to hear from you for your story in terms of everything, about the game. And I'll close. And I'll close saying this. A lot of people think once you get on, it's all the days of wine and roses, but a lot of times people don't see the reality, the true Hollywood story that goes on behind the scenes, and, as you alluded to, you have some stuff going on. So, you make it back, on the show. We definitely, want to talk about, the things, the adversity you faced, the obstacles you overcame, and the triumph that you got the platinum, not gold medal, but platinum medal that adorns you for your perseverance.
Wow. You've just floored me right now. Thank you so much. Gosh, I can't I'm speechless.
Yeah. Thanks, T-Mac. So now if we go for an interview again, I don't have to get thrown out the building now. Open that door for me.
Just let me talk to him. Let me talk to him, man.
Hey, we got a relationship.
They threw me
now.
out head first.
So I got you guys.
They threw me out head first, but I'm good. I had to take me some Aleve before the show, but it's all gravy.
Yeah, man.
I got y'all, man. I got y'all. Thanks for looking out for me. I appreciate you guys checking for your girl. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate it.
But we're going to definitely stay in touch.
For sure. For sure. You'll get more of those details.
Yeah.
Like that book, too, I'm going to let you guys know when it comes out. Then I can really speak on it for y'all. But I got you back. You're looking out.
Got you.
Definitely. Let them know where to find you on Instagram.
Okay, so on Instagram, you can find me at Oracle Branded. It's all one word, at Oracle Branded. And on Facebook, you can find me at Oracle Music. So there it is so far, and I'm trying to build back up the platform and get back going. So thank y'all for helping me.
Definitely, thank you.
We definitely appreciate you.
Sure, I appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed. That was the lovely Oracle.